Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome everybody to another edition of Walking This Way's Impact Voice. I'm your host, Furman Jackson Jr., broadcasting live from my hometown, my new hometown of Arlington, Texas. I hope everybody having a great day. Hope everybody having a great, productive day. Hope everybody had a day of getting things done. Had a day to master everything. Had a day of reaching your goals, setting your goals to be a better you, of course. And that's what it's all about. And like I said, man, we're going to talk about some interesting things here tonight. We're going to be talking about politics. We're going to be talking about entrepreneurship. We're going to be talking about uh, things that it goes on everyday life, but people want to keep quiet, but also you want to have that vocal point of voicing out what's important. And that's why I got my boy here from Mobile, Alabama, TD. TD, welcome to Walking the Ways Impact Voice. I know you're a very busy man. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join me here on the podcast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, man. And busy, boy, that's an understatement, brother.
And I appreciate you taking time to be the schedule. We're gonna be talking about politics. We're gonna be talking about we're gonna talk entrepreneurship. We were talking about building the Black community. Some things, man, that we have to progress. We know the problem, but why are people talking about the problem, but we're not bringing solutions to the problem?
Right, right.
So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So introduce yourself to the audience here tonight, Impact Voice, for those who get to know you for the very first time.
Okay, I'm Timothy Hollis. That's the full government name. Mobile, Alabama, 32 years of age, Air Force veteran, member of the mighty John L. LaFleur Alumni Association, devout, stout, dedicated community advocate, civil rights activist, got an award for protesting Jeff Sessions, and we was the Sessions 11. I'm a former city council candidate. I ran back in 2017 against Fred Richardson, who is now running for mayor this year. So his seat is vacant, and thinking about giving it another shot, man.
Man, and that's what's up. Like I said, making progress. I know as people of color, we always want to be like the next athlete, the next entertainer, but never get into that realm of being in leadership of politics and things of that nature. But as a man of your stature and a man that's all about change, how did this all originate with you get into that arena of letting your voice be heard?
Well, funny thing is, it did start with sports. As a kid, we all, like you said, we either had hoop dreams, football dreams, or being a rapper. We had those dreams of being an entertainer or something like that. And I can't sit here and say I didn't try to pursue both avenues. In the process of going through life, realizing that, okay, it's a very small 1% of people that actually get into those arenas. What am I going to do now with the rest of my life? And I have sat here in the community working in corporate media, working for the radio station and things like that. And, my thing was, I know you know who Ray Ray was, Arthur Ray Russell. He was one of the main people who inspired me to actually step out to get in radio. And the cause for getting in radio was to actually be a voice for the community, because that's what I heard from him every morning. He was our voice. He spoke for our causes. He kept us informed. He educated us, things like that. He was a role model and a positive figure. So I grew up in that light. And I mean, one of his children lived right down the street from me. So I saw him every day. And, that stuck with me. And when I got to the radio station, the local station had been bought out by corporate media. And they start doing things differently than what Ray Ray and them used to do. And what it was is they don't care about the community. They really don't care about what the community feels, what the community wants or needs. And the only thing they wanted was facts, raw, hard facts. Every time I would bring an issue from the community, they would always say, show me the numbers and we'll address it. I never had any numbers to show. So I figured after I left radio that I still have my cause. I still have my reason for why I wanted to fight, what made me want to wake up every morning. And I just started looking around my community, looking at what needed to be done. I was already assisting with football at LaFleur. The guys from the park came to me one season after we had took LaFleur to the third round of the playoffs, and the head coach had got sent off to another school. So the guys at the park, they came to me and they were saying, so what are you going to do now that your coach is gone? You going to stop coaching, or are you going to come help us? Because we really need your help. So I came over to help them, and I started seeing all the issues that they were dealing with not getting any funding from the city, with being treated unfairly because they weren't the park of choice. We formed things in our community. We started addressing issues. We started speaking on behalf of the children. And then it turned into the politicians started getting upset with us. And that struck a match in me. That lit a flame. And that day in 2014 would be the day that I would be born to actually start challenging our local government.
And that's what's up. And just you being bold to do that, not worrying about the setback, not worrying about the heat. Because a lot of time when you put yourself in that position, you start getting blackballed from people. You start getting X out a lot of things. Mm-hmm. So was you always prepared just in case that ever happened of losing company with people that may, hey, man, I feel you come from, but I just can't put myself out there because I don't want to lose a fan base. I don't want to lose income behind that. So did you look at the overall picture of that?
Well, in the beginning, I didn't. In the beginning, I looked at it as like, who am I to do that? You know, who am I to step up and do that? And I had to realize that everybody that started from the same level that I was starting at, which was not having the name for doing it. And, you know, I did it, and I wasn't thinking about any consequences or, you know, losing any jobs or anything. I wasn't thinking about being blackballed or, you know, I'm thinking like, hey, I'm doing something people will actually like. And I looked around and I was saying, well, why aren't people doing it? And it was for those very same reasons why you said it. People were too afraid to be blackballed and things. And in the end, it caught up with me. I started to deal with the pains. I'm like, man, you know, I stood out for justice, you know, speaking up against officer-involved shootings with unarmed black men, black teenagers and things like that, with the Michael Moore incident here, challenging every level of government from our government plaza all the way to Washington, D.C. And, you know, at that point we had momentum. So, you know, I was just up and going. I was fueled by the adrenaline, the momentum that we had. But once that momentum died, the blackballing started coming. The setup started coming. People presented me with all types of gifts that I didn't deserve, trying to invite me to different places. And, you know, just like I could see people who had my back was starting to veer away because, you know, in this way that we go about fighting, you have what they call conservatism and you have what they call liberalism. And Mobile is a very conservative town. I don't care if you're white, black, Democrat, Republican, or independent. The average thought concept here is very conservative. Not many people here in this city will go out on a liberal, progressive mind state. And those that are on a liberal, progressive mind state, we're far and few. So we're outnumbered. So yeah, in the beginning, I definitely didn't see any of that, or I didn't let any of that pause me. But I can definitely tell you that was the reason why now I'm more cautious about doing things.
And that's what's up. And we know we had a lot of great men of color who stood for something. You had the Martin Luther King, you had the Malcolm X, who stood for something. We know when you stand for something, it's gonna cost you everything. And we said that these men put their lives on the line every day for the cause that they knew that they had to fulfill here in the earth and the promises. And like I said, we want to talk about the politics. I know people of color, we get so excited when they present us with somebody that's a people of color. We get so caught up on the skin, but not get so caught up on the motives behind the certain candidates. You know what I'm saying? Just like Vice President Harris, you know, a lot of people getting excited about her because she was a woman of color, but not understanding the history, not understanding what her motives are. How can she, as a people, how can it be? Can we benefit from that? What do you want to say about that? As people of color, we get so caught up on skin color, but not the background of this particular candidate.
Man, I'm so glad you put it that way, because that's one of my biggest arguments out here today. You know, I always say, man, you know, just because they look like you doesn't mean that they're going to think like you, you know, or think with you. Better yet, let's talk about that. Just thinking with me. You don't have to think like me, but can you sit down and think with me? Can we bring our ideas together? And in our culture, we tend to see this sharp image, this polished image, this decorated resume. They've gotten all these degrees. We see that they work for these different agencies, and we validate that as political success. We validate that as, oh, that's the right person to represent me. But, you know, when it comes to government and when it comes to politics, what are their policies? What are they going to do for the community? What are they going to do for the economy? What are they going to do for the infrastructure? What are they going to do for the climate? I mean, just overall, what are they going to do for the people? We never look at that. All we look at is that image of that. Basically, in a town like where we're at, if you don't have that image of that black pastor or that black school principal, you're not getting in office. Historically, not to say that activists like myself can't come in and sweep the doors this time, but you know, generally in the Bible Belt, that's what you're going to get, and that has been the reason why we have been set back, because we allow people that carry the look to go sit and represent us, but they're not representing us when they go downtown. They're not representing us when they go to Montgomery or when they go to DC. They're only representing their interests and their big donors, their corporate donors.
Yeah, and I know that and that just really resonated with me, because like when Obama was in office, you know, black people, oh, we got a black man in office, but we still have not overcome that hurdle. Why is that? Why we have not overcome the hurdle?
Man, that is a great question, man, and I'm glad that you asked it, because it's definitely a question that we need to find the answer to. I really can't give you a factual answer on why we're there. Everything that I would have for that would be based off my opinion. And to basically narrow that down, we fear change, man. Simple as that. We fear what we don't understand. And, you know, we have this thing about a whole black world. We want a whole black United States. We feel like we need to catch up as a culture to what white people have done in the past. There was a white supremacy, so they feel like now we need a black supremacy. And I'm just here to tell you, I'm not for no one set of colors being supreme over another set of colors. I'm not for that. I was raised up again with many different nations and nationalities and races and ethnicities, and my family raised me to work with all. It's not one set of colors that make up the rainbow, and it's not one set of colors that make up the whole world. We need each other. We have to learn to work with each other. And we can't just sit here and say, oh, because I got a black man in office, he's only supposed to do for black people. We can't sit there and do that, because guess what's going to happen? We're going to create the same thing that we grew up hating. And what's going to happen? The side that's growing up to become the inferior side, they're going to wake up and they're going to revolt one day just like we did. And then we're going to have the same cycle all over and over again. I don't care if it lasts if our cycle takes over and lasts for another 400 years or another 800 years. It's not a good thing. It's not a good cause, and America will fall if that ever happens.
And I totally agree with that. And I read a lot of books. I study I'm not a 5%, but I study their methods, their teaching. I like some of the stuff they're saying, but like you're saying, people like that, they're so closed-minded. You know, they view, okay, who the original man is, then we look at white people as the devil, and that's how they do it. And I don't like stuff like that, because we're being closed-minded and being open to all race and nationalities like the place I work at, they teaching us how to be diverse culture. And I believe in that because you want to understand different background from different people, from different races, to better get a better understanding on what's going on. That goes to when Black Lives Matter hit, of course. I'm not, that motive was something different, but the whole concept was understanding where we come from, treat us as being equal. White people, just be honest with you, they're not going to experience police brutality. They're not going to experience having an officer put a gun out on them because they color their skin. And that's what everybody as people of color trying to get our counterpart to see. Hey, put yourself in our shoes. We want to live right. We want to have a comfortable life. We want to have a life that we can raise our children just the way y'all doing it. And that's what it's all about. Right. The Black Lives Matter. And I know that we experienced that. And I know as you and a man that's in an arena, what was your views on the Black Lives Matter?
Well, I'm going to just say this first and foremost. And I don't care how people receive this. This is one thing that I stand firm on. I've never been a part of the Black Lives Matter movement. And when we were protesting and going to City Hall and police headquarters for that whole year behind Michael Moore, they would always refer us to the Black Lives Matter movement. And I would get them correct at the moment that we're not Black Lives Matter. We're just a bunch of Black lives that are concerned here in Mobile. And the reason why I say this is because the Black Lives Matter, where did they come from? Where did they start? What is their true agenda? Who's their leader? And what money that they're raising are they putting back into the community? How many people how many elections have they helped out in? The only time you hear about Black Lives Matter is when somebody dies. If death is the only time that you decide to speak up for the life of people, then what is your real cause? Because death ain't the only thing that got Black lives set back. Death is not the only thing that have Black lives hindered. You know, Black lives should matter when it comes to our city officials cutting the wave transit system. Black lives should matter when it comes to the coal ash ponds out here in the Mobile River, about to pollute the Mobile River, which is going to eventually pollute the Mobile Bay, which is going to eventually meet up with the oil polluting the Gulf of Mexico. This is a predominant Black area, so don't these Black lives matter when these companies are over here with their steam plants pushing their emissions in the air? Black lives should not matter just when the police is killing somebody. Black lives should always matter when there's an injustice. And another thing, they push equality. I don't want equality. I want equity.
And I agree with that 100%. And I know everybody was into that more. I seen people, not knocking people, but I know you really what you do, and I respect that you still going strong with it. But I seen cats get on social media, label themselves as being community activists. Ain't never been no activist since day one. You're gonna label yourself as being an activist. I can ask somebody, have you studied the Black Panther Party? Have you studied their movement? No, I ain't not really studied. Okay, but why are you calling yourself an activist? You have not studied the greats that did it. They wasn't doing just to be seen on TV,
right?
But they were doing it because they had purpose behind that. What do you say? Go ahead.
And I'm so glad that you mentioned them, because here we have a picture of Mr. Fred Hampton. Here we have a picture of the 10-point plan. And down here we have a picture of the very first publication of the Black Panther newsletter. So yes, like you said, if you're not studying the greats, how can you even call yourself one?
And I seen cats do that. It's like when I was still at home in Mobile before I moved here to Texas, you know, we was downtown. I went downtown, but people the color downtown protest. Yeah. Okay, and I heard a lady say this on Facebook Live. She's told them, if you want your voices heard, start going to these meetings. Ain't nobody went to the meetings yet that I ain't never seen yet.
And that's the thing, man. Me and my crew, we used to go to city council meetings like it was our job to be at city council. And I mean, I'm talking about pre-council meetings, the actual council meetings, ad hoc committee meetings. community meetings for a district councilman all the way on another side of the town that we don't even live in. Like, if you're going to be a part of this, if you're going to be down for this, this is what you have to do. You have to be engaged. How can you know what the people need, and how can you know what to fight for if you're not going to hear what the city legislators are doing, if you're not going to watch their practices? And that's another thing. Like, you talk about activists, since we're on politics still, you know, that's one of my biggest pet peeves with people who choose to run for office. How can you run for city council and you've never been to a city council meeting? You don't know the order. You don't know the structure. You don't know what setbacks they voted for. You don't know what come-ups they voted for. You're just trying to run for a name. If you ask me, if you've never put yourself in the process, I mean, if you, this is a servant's position. And the payoff for the servant's position is winning the seat. Just because you don't win the seat don't mean that you stop fighting. Just because you don't win the seat don't mean that you stop serving. You go after the seat after you sit back and you look at how much you served and you say, man, I need a payoff for all this hard work I've done, and I need to go represent the people where my voice really will matter. Because as an activist, my voice only goes as far as the person I'm talking to that I want to put the agenda online or that I want to put the vote online. But as that politician or that political servant sitting in that chair, now I have a pen. Now I have a vote. Now I get to speak for what the people want. And that's what we can't lose sight of.
And I agree with that 100%. I know we still talk about politics. We're going to talk about some other things here tonight as well. Man. Also,
man.
We're going to talk about 2020. You know, we in year 2021. We know 2020 was rough. I don't want to say it was rough. It was rough for everybody due to the pandemic, but also it birthed out a lot of entrepreneurs as well in 2020. And I know as you've been an entrepreneur yourself, when you've seen that when people losing their jobs, and it hit a lot of people, but as being an entrepreneur, businessman, how did you engage that change?
I'm gonna tell you firsthand first. I got displaced in 2020, and it led me to actually taking my entrepreneurship more serious. And because I was working for Tom Steyer, he was one of the 17 Democratic candidates. Tom Steyer is a former he's still a billionaire. He was a former trade investor, and he actually had the highest paid campaign staff throughout the history of general elections. I mean, I was making $25.86 an hour to be a community organizer. And, you know, man, that was some good money. And, you know, how politics works on that level, when you start talking about general elections, when your candidate leaves the race, typically you're going to end up working for the top candidate of that party, because it's always party first when your candidate leaves. And those candidates that's going out trying to win this presidency, they're receptive to that because they know it's party first. So a lot of us, not just my team, people from Bernie's team, Liz Warren's team, Amy Klobuchar's team, we were left out in the dry. Like, where are we going to go? Because Biden barely had enough room for the people that was already on his team once it all went virtual. So, I mean, some people have reached out to me like years ago about doing some things. One was financial literacy with financial education services, which I am an entrepreneur in that field. And, you know, I'm also an entrepreneur with the Dream Trips concept. And I thank you for your support, brother.
No problem.
But what that steered me there, because of the simple fact, I'm just sitting here looking, and I'm just like, what are we gonna do, man? What are we gonna do? This unemployment not gonna last forever. My severance check not gonna last forever. You know, like, what are we gonna do? And it led me to actually getting in and focusing on financial literacy and trying to educate the people on their finances, educate people on their credit, trying to get people and I'm not a guru. I don't know it all, but as I'm learning, I'm encouraging others to come and learn with me. And, you know, that put me in a spot. But once I got with World Ventures and Dream Trips, it changed my life, because the training systems that they had there, like, I just picked up one of my notes here. One thing we were talking about, we had Eric Thomas come on one of our Zoom calls one day, and he was just talking about entrepreneurship. And the main thing that entrepreneurs need to know is when you're doing it, it's all about solving people's problem at a profit. See, people get into entrepreneurship trying to get rich in the morning. People, you know what I'm saying? They jump in an entrepreneur. Oh, I started my own business. Support me, support me, support me. Yeah, that's fine. You started your own business, but now you got to learn how to work your business. Now you have to change your whole mindset. Now you got to do away with all that bull crap that they taught you in school. Now you got to focus your mind on wealth. You got to focus your mind on the things that the 1% is focused on. And getting into entrepreneurship, I'm just going to say it helped me change my way of thinking, man. And I've always done anything I've ever done for the people. I ran for office for the people. I got into activism for the people. And when I got into entrepreneurship and they broke it down and they were saying, well, if you're an entrepreneur, you're doing it for the people. And if you're doing it for the profits, now notice I said we're solving people's problem at a profit. Of course, we're delivering service, we're delivering goods. Whatever your problem is, you might have bad skin. I got something for that. Here's my solution. It's a profit to that, right? You might have bad credit. Well, here I am to educate you about it, but you got to pay a profit. See, the goal is not to reap the benefits of getting rich. The goal is to reap the benefits of helping people out of their problems. And in that, you can help people out of their problems and recruit them into entrepreneurship. And now, once you recruit them into entrepreneurship, you can help them break the cycle that was broken in you. So,
yeah. And I agree with that 100% what you're saying. I talk to people, especially when it comes to the financial arena. I noticed, I guess, about 2 years now going in, I know a lot of people are getting to the financial arena to educate others on how to handle their finances for generations to come. And people really catch hold. And you got some people who, like you said, doing it for profit. Because I ask people, okay, if you're in this credit repair business, or whatever financial business you're in, are you educating the people? Are you educating the people where they will learn from their mistakes to make better decisions? And I never really came across a person yet that really take this thing seriously. It's like more of, I'm just, okay, you're going to pay me for your services. I'm making money. That's it. Okay, but what leads the people at so they won't have to keep repeating the same cycle all over again?
Man, one thing is a lot of these network marketing entrepreneur companies out here today, they're just getting that registration fee, telling people use these graphics, post them all over your social media. People are going to see that you're going to do it. They tell you to stay consistent. Yeah, that's fine. But what they're not telling the people is that social media is about to blackball you for doing this. Social media is about to shadow ban your posts. Yeah, you still see your post, but the people aren't seeing your post. You know, and I speak on that because, you know, when I got into FES, they didn't preach it like that. But once I got over to World Ventures, and once I got into actually doing lead generation marketing, they was teaching us that all that stuff where you putting your brand out there, you promoting the company that you're working for, yeah, that's fine. But people going to see the company's work, people going to see the company stuff, and then they're just going to go look it up somewhere else. They're just going to go buy it somewhere else. But now you become a nuisance. People tired of seeing, here you go again with that stupid little post. Here you go again with the same meme I done seen 9 other people in the same business post. You get what I'm saying? Like they aren't learning systems. They aren't learning how to become businessmen or businesswomen. They're not learning entrepreneurship. They're only in the business of entrepreneurship. And that's the thing. People aren't learning how to be entrepreneurs. They're just working in entrepreneurship, if that makes any sense.
And that make good sense. I mean, knowing the difference, discerning between the two, And it really goes back to doing the research. It's not part of doing the research. Like if you pick a particular area, they're gonna tell you, okay, you look at this place to live, go out there at night, see how it is at night. Don't just look at it today. Learn how the school, if you got children, learn about the schools, learn about different programs in place. Are you feeling that we're starting to get to that level now of interest when it comes to doing research to a particular thing we want to do or live?
I think now in this uncertain time that we're living in, it has forced us to do it. And it's at the point now where sink or swim really matters now. It's really sink or swim now. And it's really on, like Eric Thomas says, if you want to live as bad as you want to breathe, you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, you're going to do what it takes. And, you know, if you're going to get into this business world, this entrepreneur world, and you want to be successful, at first it wasn't that many, you know, it still was a lot of people doing entrepreneurship, network marketing, multi-level marketing, or however you want to do it. But now it's so big. Now everybody's doing it. Everybody's selling something. Everybody's offering something. Everybody's providing something. Everybody's trying to consult. Everybody's cutting grass. Everybody's doing something for themselves. So now the market has gotten bigger. So now what do? Now you have to become educated in what you're trying to do. So now, just like running for office or just like anything else, trying to be the best in it, you want people to know that you know. And that's the only way. You got to instill confidence in people. And that's the only way you're going to make it in entrepreneurship now. You have to become what they say, a product of the product. And that's what people aren't doing. They just want to share, click my link, buy from me, but don't want to become the product of the product. Now, I can't encourage you to get your credit fixed if I'm not showing you that I'm taking the same steps. I can't encourage you to go take an exclusive vacation if I don't do them myself. I can't encourage you to use a product that I'm using, to swallow some food that I'm taking, if you haven't seen me doing it. You know, and that's what people were missing out on, but now they're catching up to it. So I think that as more people come around into the network marketing business, and businesses are starting to see it too, though. Like, I'm not saying anything to shoot at any other business or any other company. Like, the businesses that haven't been doing it, they're starting to see why they're losing so many people to other businesses. So I can tell you, brother, it's been some days, man. It's hard. It's hard. Some days I just want to throw the towel in, man. Some days I just want to rip this whole wall down back here and just go to the steel mill somewhere, go down to Austin somewhere and just give up. But I know why I started, and it wasn't for me. It was for the people.
And that's what's up. And I'm glad you brought that up. The sacrifice of being an entrepreneur. They on social media, they look at the glitz and glamour of you can have the biggest house, you can have the fat bank account, but not looking at the sleepless nights, the hours you got to put in. Why is people not seeing that? They don't understand that concept, like you said, where you at that point, man, I just want to, give up, go get a 9 to 5 somewhere. But a lot of cats are not seeing the dark side of the come up. They so close on the outside. Go ahead.
And you never really it just goes back to speaking like in the beginning tonight when I said I didn't see all the horrors and the dangers when I first, don't get it twisted. I did see the horrors and dangers from history's past of teaching of what happened to all the leaders before me and before us. You know what I'm saying? History taught me what happens, but you still don't see, you know what I'm saying? And like, they can look and see this girl on here every day, all night, and they think that all she's doing or all he's doing is just typing a post, making a post on Facebook, putting a post on Instagram, putting a post on Twitter, pass out a few flyers, go home, go to sleep. No, you got to read books. You got to learn how, because the key to winning in entrepreneurship is not, if you're the only person on your team, you already lost. If you don't, it's team building. It's called network marketing for a reason. You're building your network. And then it's just like Mr. Sam Walton. The people that you put in are going to pay you from their labels. And the people that they put in are going to pay them, and so on and so on and so on. But nobody sees that. They don't realize that you have to actually build a brand. And in order to build that brand, you can't come in with that prison pipeline thinking that we got from the school system. And I mean from kindergarten all the way to college. You can't come with that industrial age mindset into the information mindset and think that you're going to win. You have to really scramble your brain. You have to throw away what you used to know, and you have to re-educate yourself. And a lot of people don't realize that that's what you got to do. And that's why they never make it, or that's why they give up before they ever make it or get a chance to make it. A lot of people they get in and say, I don't want to read no book. Why we got to read books? Because, in a couple of my business, we have what we call accountability groups within our group. And we keep each other accountable. It's like, I just got a text right now asking me, what am I doing at this moment? Do I have a minute to rap about something? And it's one of the accountability groups. And I'm dodging that one tonight. I'll see them tomorrow because I don't feel like being held accountable tonight.
And like I said, and I thank you for that, man. Just do it, because I know you're busy, and I know pressure for time. Entrepreneurship leaders, great thinkers. They don't sleep in late. You know what I'm saying? You heard people say team no sleep. Getting up wee hours in the morning grinding. Well, a person that's normal, they'll sleep all the way till 8 o'clock. That's late to a lot of entrepreneurs. You say, wake up 8 o'clock in the morning. They'll tell you that's late. They get up at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, constantly working, managing time. So when you in that entrepreneurship in that realm, how did you adapt to time management? Because I know a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of great thinkers, they're big on time management. They don't believe in wasting time at all.
Man, I'm gonna tell you like this, man. See, I got these papers right here. these papers. It's a schedule. It's a routine, and it's 3 different routines for 3 different entities that I'm a part of. This one right here, this is applied to everything. This one right here, this is how I start my mornings. And this one right here, this is my guide map for the day, for how I go after new clients, how I go after new friends, because everybody that I meet, I'm not trying to make them a client. I'm just trying to become a friend. And I'm trying to possibly get acquainted with some of their friends. I'm networking. So it's a guide map, man. And I'm going to tell you, dude, I've been working on something. I got a surprise coming out next Monday. And I've been putting in some extra hours that I haven't been used to putting in. And I'm going to tell you, I woke up at 8:30 this morning. And when I woke up, I was extremely upset with myself because I missed my weekly breakfast club call, which starts at 5:30 in the morning. You see what I'm saying? It start at 5:30 in the morning, but we're a whole international network, and I got people that's in Tahiti that wake up, people in Israel that's waking up out of their sleep to be on the call. You know what I'm saying? And here I am in my bed sleeping till 8:30 in the morning, like ain't nothing going on, like I don't have a surprise coming up next week, like I don't already have businesses to attend to. So managing time, I'm telling you, man, sometimes I don't sleep. That's how I manage my time. I might sit here, see, I got this big cup of coffee that sometimes I have. I'll kill myself with coffee, kill myself with some vitamin C or something, some B12, keep it moving. I might take a little 30-minute nap somewhere throughout the day, whether I'm in the car, whether I'm at somebody's house, or I might sneak in a little room in the house somewhere and just take a little 30-minute nap. But I'm gonna say about time management is in the beginning stages of building your business. It's really no such thing as time management. It's really not. It's really how bad do you want to succeed. Some days you got to sacrifice sleep. Some days you got to be up for 36 hours. It is what it is. Do you really want to be known? I know for yourself starting the podcast, doing what you're doing. I've done the podcast, you know what I'm saying? I'm on the brink of thinking about bringing back a podcast, but I have to manage my time on that. Do I have time to do that right now? Can I do that? You got to get your criteria together. Not only do you got to get your criteria together, you still have to do independent research on the field, and then you have to do independent research on the topics that you want to speak on. Then you have to self-build yourself. I have about 75 digital books, not even counting all the books that's on my library bookshelf right now. And you have to find time to balance. Which book am I going to focus on today? Which book am I going to read today? You never know. You might need to read your tribal leadership book today, but tomorrow you might need to be reading Cash Flow Quadrant. And it's just all about how you going to itemize that time. And balance is one of the main things that you have to have in entrepreneurship, but it ain't no sleep, man. Yeah. It ain't no sleep. Not the serious entrepreneurs I know, we don't sleep.
What they gonna tell you? It's 24 hours in a day.
It is. Somebody can be sold at every moment of the day.
Podcast go off. What's wrong? You all right?
So, I was about to say something.
Yes, I heard something.
Yeah, I did. They got to mute their mic. We're gonna get back into it.
Okay.
Like I said, it's 24 hours within the day. The grind is real, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I say all the time when I'm up at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, I said, this is the time that makes legends, because you're constantly putting in work. It's not just living for the day. You know what I'm saying? You thinking about generations, you thinking about your seed, your lineage. And that was great entrepreneur. I seen a post years ago on Facebook. They said, you got people who live for the weekend, but you got people living to make their generation to start within 3 years. Not 3 years, but 3 generations of establishment. That means they're not living for the weekend. They're not living for the club. They're constantly grind on the weekend. They're constantly studying. They constantly put in the work. They're not living for the weekend. And that's what it goes to friendships, relationships. And I know as an entrepreneur, the test has come when it comes to having that partner, because they may not understand the work you have to do. As an entrepreneur yourself, and from personal experience, how did you challenge that from when it comes to relationship with that female counterpart? Because we know that it can be tough because someone don't understand it.
Well, I've been single for quite some time now, and by great purpose too, for a great purpose, I should say. And that's basically me, myself. I feel like I can take care of a woman. I feel like I can provide for a woman, but I'm not comfortable at where I am talking about trying to get ready. Because at this age, man, I'm 32. At this age, we're not dating to just be in lust. We're dating to build a kingdom. You know, we're auditioning every day to see if this is who I'm gonna close my show out with. And at this point, I don't feel confident going into a relationship trying to marry a woman where I am, because I don't want to be in the same cycle that my father's in. I don't want to be in the same cycle that my grandfather was in, which was work until I get sick and then I eventually die. You get what I'm saying? I want when I do die, because death is coming, if I have anything to say about it, if I live to be an old man, I want the next 3 generations to be set up like Mr. Dale Champ tried to do for his family, like Mr. Manning did for his family. You get what I'm saying? Like MLK did for his family. You know, like so many other great leaders, white, black, red, yellow, have done for their families. They've set their families up. Well, yeah, you're going to work every day, but I set up this vehicle where you don't have to go beg a man for a job, and you don't have to play by a man's rules that may be unjust towards you and only you, just to make a measly paycheck. And so, you know, that's just where I see that at. That's my focus on that. The females, you know, they come, they go. I try to talk, you know, I'm a man, see women that I take interest in. I'm not just going to stay lonely. You know what I'm saying? Because I have what I want for, you know, how I want to do it, but who's to say how God's going to set it up? I may meet a woman that may help me catapult into becoming that man I want to be for the next 3 generations to follow me. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
For our seeds to come. You see what I'm saying? That's
Right.
where I am on that. So when I do talk to women or you know, and get to know them or whatnot, and they're trying to figure out like, what do you do? And I'm telling them, well, I do this, I do that. And then they want to know like, well, how much money you make doing that. And then, you know, I don't never give them my business of how much money I make, but I let them know instantly. I don't work for the salary wage. I don't work. I can make whatever I want to make. That's what I usually tell them. I can make anywhere from $25 this week to $250,000 this week. It's just all about how hard can I go. But if I have a female stressing me because she's needed for time, or I want to see you, or I never get to talk to you, you never got time to FaceTime me, there's no way I can FaceTime her when I'm on Zoom 19 hours out the day. You know what I'm saying? Because she's not going to want to sit there and listen to me, listen to people. And, you know, she's not going to want to sit there and watch me not interact with her. So, you know, I just feel like at this time in my life, until I get to where I'm trying to go and I'm confident there and I'm established there, then I'll make room for a female. Now, if she's on the same type of time I'm on, then I would expect her to understand that I'm putting in the same effort that she's putting in. Or she should know that I'm putting in that same effort as well. And then there should be some level of respect. And then we can reason and we can compromise whenever there may be downtime.
Right. And I encourage to the brothers, you know, to have standards for themselves. I ain't gonna lie, women have standards for themselves. When it comes to school, they're gonna tell you they don't have time for a relationship because they're working on getting something.
Right.
And men have to be the same way. Some men, I ain't say all men, some men, like they gotta have a woman. But you look at this woman, she'll tell you, I don't have time for a relationship because she's in school, she's grinding because she want to get somewhere in life, which I respect that because she don't want no hindrance, no setups, no setbacks. No, the brothers, some of them have to get in that same mindset. Like, okay, like you said, so you're thinking about choice because you're working on something. You're not comfortable where you at. Until you come where you at, then you say, okay, then I can look for that help meet that partner that's gonna come along with me. So I respect that to the highest.
And the fact that you said that, you know, growing up through the young adolescence, like during my radio days, I wasn't concerned with no education during radio days. You know, if I'm sitting in for folks like Nicky Knight, I'm hosting folks like 2 Chainz and Future. You know what I'm saying? I'm hosting at the Bayfest, bringing Anthony Hamilton's out and stuff. I'm not studying education, so you know, of course, I'm talking to the women that's in my age bracket, which was college students, and you know, get on the phone talking to her, and she said, "Well, I don't have time to talk right now. I'm trying to do something. I'm studying." And you know, you sit there, and you're like, "What you mean you don't have time? You don't never have time." I didn't understand it then, but I'm here to tell you, brother, especially after you just put it down like that, I definitely understand what they were saying now.
And that's what's up. And I mean, just going into that different mindset. Of course, this is my last and final question and stuff like
Okay.
that. Legacy. And I ask this to the guests all the time on the show. You know,
Okay.
Proverbs talks about a good name. A good name is better than riches because
Yeah.
a good name takes you a long way in life. At the end of the day, TD, when you done everything you done and you know, okay, it's time. How do you want your legacy to be after it's all said and done?
Man, and it may sound cliche as all get out, but when it's all said and done, I just want people to bring up my name or look at a member in my family, and you know, they're gonna have some negative to say regardless. I mean, people try to throw mud on MLK and be like, well, you know, he used to cheat on his wife.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? You know, like people gonna always throw mud out there to deflect away from the light. But if I could be remembered for the positive work that I've done out here, if I could be remembered for the collaborations, if I could be remembered for being somebody who stood for, like, I just went to my good friend funeral, you know, that passed this weekend. I called him my field general. We grew up together ever since we were 7 years old. And I called him my field general. He was one of those people, he didn't have what others had, but he gave more than most. You see what I'm saying? He gave his life to service. He gave his life to bringing joy to children. He gave his life to being there for kids that didn't have fathers in their homes, kids that had parents that were arrested, locked away, dead in the box, you know, kids that didn't have mothers and things like that. He put himself in their life, and that was my comrade. And, you know, we did a lot of things together, from coaching kids. He was one of my main supporters when I ran for office. But at his funeral, like our pastor said, because we went to the same church, like our pastor said, I'm not going to preach his funeral because his funeral already been preached through the last 32 years. You know, and that's what I want. I want people to be able to look back and say, he did this. He the selfless days, the selfless nights, when it wasn't no hope in sight, he still was the only one on the front line. I want just people to remember that I was there. I tried to make a difference for the future, the current, the present, and and that's just basically it with me. I don't want to be remembered as, oh, he was the richest mogul to ever walk around Mobile, or he had the nicest house, the nicest car. I don't want to be remembered for that. Material things fade away. They lose value. But a legacy, like you said, a legacy lives forever. A legacy lives past your 3 generations of family. I mean, whether we want to look at it for what it is or not, Adolf Hitler still has a legacy. You see what I'm saying? It may be a negative legacy, but guess what? They'll be talking about this man for another 500 years to 1,000 years. Just like we still talk about Alexander the Great. Just like we still talk about the apostles in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the life I want to live. That's the life I want to lead.
Man, that's what's up, man. I do appreciate you taking time with your business here to be here on the podcast with me. Yeah. And like I said, man, it sums it up right there. I know you got to get back to the grind, because the grind is real. I appreciate you taking time with your business schedule, because you said, how long is it going to take? And I said, about 30 minutes to an hour. I love that, because you're like, hey, I got stuff I got to do, and I appreciate that. Just keeping it real. So I appreciate you in that, bro.
Look, it's no biggie, man. This thing would have took 2 hours, 3 hours, man, however long it would have took to get the word out to the people, man. That's one thing about me. That money never going to stop flowing. But
right.
The time that we have to get our message out, it's going to come to an end one day.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Yeah. And TD, man, I appreciate you once again taking time with your busy schedule. Want everybody to have a great night. The replay will be up. It'll be up on YouTube, Facebook, so you can go back and check it out just in case you missed it live here on the Zoom as well. So, man, I appreciate you getting my brother, man. Take care. Many blessings upon you, and we know we're going to cross paths soon. So, next time, man. Everybody, have a great night. See you next time. Peace.
Peace, man.